of the important things to assess during spiritual care assessment is a patient's spiritual resources. There are 4 types of spiritual resources that we should assess in a patient. The first one is traditional religious practices, where a patient can find comfort and solace in their old traditional religious practices. The second spiritual resource is the private spiritual practices, and this can be the inner relationship or the inner connection between a patient with God or higher power. These may include private practices such as prayers, arts, meditation, any rituals that patient finds as strengthening to their spirits. The third is expression of feelings. Feelings are the language of the soul, and expressing these feelings is the language of the soul. The fourth is ultimate meaning and purpose in life. Helping a patient to talk about their ultimate meaning and purpose in life can be one of a person's spiritual resource. Well, let's discuss about spiritual practices that may be resources for a person. First and foremost, traditional religious practices can be a form of spiritual resources. A person may have an affiliation with a religious group. They may find comfort and solace in rituals, prayers, or practices in their religious group or activities. At the same time, talking to a person from their religious group can be of help for their spiritual concerns. They may find a prayer, a blessing, or any other ritual nurturing for them, and it becomes a resource for their spiritual needs. The next spiritual practices is private spiritual practices. The person may not necessarily practice a religious rituals or practices. However, they may have strong faith in God or a higher power. They may talk about their relationship with God. They may discuss aspects of their life in relationship to their faith, believing that this is very important to them, and they need someone just to share and express these feelings that they have. A private spiritual practices also may include private practices like meditating, reading an inspiring book, providing care for people who are going through difficult times, being involved in literature, fine arts, nature, or even music. The third spiritual resource is expressing feelings. There is a belief that feelings are the language of the soul. Whenever a person is expressing their feelings, we are affirming the inner drive they have toward life and living. Expressing feelings lessens the burden a person experiences, especially when they are going through a difficult time. A spiritual counselor once said, "The experience of being listened to is so close to the experience of being loved, that when we listen carefully to a person, they feel loved." As clinicians, we see patients in our day-to-day practice, in the clinic, in the ward, or even just at the hospital corridor. This is a good time to be present to a patient and to allow patients to express their feelings while we actively listen and be compassionate and empathetic. The fourth spiritual resource is ultimate meaning. Many times, when a person is sick or going through a difficult time, they take a look at what is meaningful in their life. Anytime, if we participate in the conversation with them, we are a part of their spiritual journey. They might wonder, what is the meaning of all this? They might review their pattern of lifestyle and decide to change. It is time when they look at what has a value and what has meaning in their life. While we are a part of their spiritual journey, it would be very helpful for patients to have a clinician who is compassionate, empathetic, non-judgmental, and just be present.